Yeah, I'm already recording. It's fine.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're gonna clap on 3.
All right.
1,
One,
2,
two,
3.
3. Ooh, that was good.
Yours came like 5 seconds after mine.
Okay. Well, I did it the exact same time as you on mine, so it's probably fine.
So I'm Alex.
And I'm Molly.
And this is...
Oh, wait, we're doing that kind of thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
what is it, Molly?
It's this Bingeable.
Hooray!
Play the theme song.
So we're not American Vandal?
No.
Like you said last time, then we deleted it?
Why would you bring that up? Why would you bring up my shameful past that I specifically deleted?
Don't worry about it. All right, so yeah, welcome back to Bingeable.
To Bingeable.
We should make a song out of that. To
Okay.
Bingeable.
To Bingeable. I like
That's
to make
good.
it really off-key. I think that's a good way of having a theme song.
So yeah, this week we watched the show American Vandal.
We did.
How do we start this whole podcasting thing? I feel like we've now just sort of hit a brick wall. I should ask you, hey Molly, how's your life going?
Oh. It's going.
Cool.
How was that? Was that a good answer?
Seen any good weather recently?
Actually, we did have some really nice weather today. I think I think a storm might be blowing in or something, but
It rained for
who knows?
30 straight hours here this week.
I know. I
Still
saw
going
that.
on.
I
It's
saw
fine.
that you guys were getting rain.
So we watched the show American Vandal, which...
We did.
So if you guys don't know, well, should we just jump right into our criteria?
Yeah, I'll just list off the criteria again, just so that.
All
or
right,
do you-
what's our
Yeah,
criteria?
All right, so our criteria for gauging a show's bingeability.
I'm just gonna eat some chocolate while you're talking.
Sounds good. Why don't you just crinkle a little more?
Just right
Of
in
that
the
wrapper.
mic?
Yeah. People like that. All right, so our criteria are the overall story and concept, the plot, aka the plot, the
What it's
length
about.
of the series and its episodes to an extent.
How long is it?
I like these little interjections. The execution and age.
Cool.
Oh, you don't have anything for that one? Okay.
No, this is good.
The overall engagement. So how much you're engaged with the actual show.
I'm not getting engaged to any of these shows.
Wow.
That was a really good joke
way to
on my
open
end,
yourself
wasn't it?
up for love. Jeez. Any advice on how to watch them?
Okay.
And the overall conclusion, the yay or nay of bingeability. And then we'll probably go into a little bit of spoiler discussion at the end, because that's...
Right, so yeah, we'll
that's
try to keep our main discussion non-spoilers, and we'll do a little bit of a spoiler discussion afterwards for those of y'all who've seen the show and want to get a little deeper of an insight into how we think about it. Whoa, what's up with the way I'm talking today?
I don't know. It's weird.
It's fine.
Just stop. Just...
Okay, so criteria number 1, the plot. So this show, I mean, it's essentially, it's like Making a Murder, but
Yeah.
different. This is like a satire of those true crime TV shows that, okay, maybe I'll get into that later. Yeah,
Start at the
essentially,
beginning. What's the plot of the show?
it's a true crime documentary satire about the investigation into who drew the 27 penises on the 27 cars in the parking lot of this high school in California. Follows main. Wow, you just put a big mouthful of food in your mouth when I finished that sentence, leaving me hanging. Now I have to talk until you're done chewing. This is fantastic. All right, so anyway, Molly's computer stopped recording, so we're just picking right back up. Like I was saying, I sort of described the plots already. Whatever. It follows
You didn't describe the plot at all.
Yeah, I did. I described the whole main premise. You were concerned your computer stopped recording, so you probably weren't listening to me because you're a bad friend. But anyway.
That seems like a huge leap, but all right.
It follows, Dylan Maxwell, he was expelled from his high school because he was the one accused of committing the crime.
Of the
But
dicks?
he says he didn't do it. Yes, yeah, exactly.
That's how
He
they
says-
put it. That is
the
literally
whole
how
show.
they put it.
He says he didn't do it, and so this show is essentially like two other students. They're in the the student news or something like that, and they
Yeah.
are now making a documentary following Dylan to try to figure out A, if he did it or not, and B, who actually did it if he didn't.
Right.
It's
Sounds
very much
good.
in the vein of Serial or Making a Murder. It
Yeah,
like
I think they
done in that
mentioned both of those shows
they
during.
definitely mentioned Serial. I'm not sure if they mentioned Making a Murder, but you could tell that was like what they were going for.
Yeah, that's the one that I don't know what Serial is. I have never seen it. So.
Serial's a podcast.
Oh, well
Yeah.
that's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's only literally the most popular podcast in existence, Molly. It's fine.
Oh, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts.
Don't worry,
I
I've
only
never
listen to
listened to Serial.
myself,
Sorry, Serial.
so-
But
What a
All right.
call out.
yeah, I mean, hey, I don't know. I'm bad at
All
this.
right, so up. Okay, so I think that's a good plot. I mean, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean that's the general premise, and it just sort of there's twists and turns along the way, and the investigation, the plot thickens, and as they get deeper into this, is there a conspiracy? Was evidence fake, or are people who are giving testimonies reliable? Are they lying? Who actually did it? If it wasn't Dylan.
Right, exactly. I thought the plot was pretty strong. I felt pretty sucked in. Which is
Yeah.
weird because I definitely went in thinking this is stupid. I think I said it to you. I'm like, this is gonna be really stupid.
I
And
was expecting it to be stupid too.
I was
So-
like, because like the first thing I thought was like, I don't understand why people draw dicks on everything. People, I guess, guys. I don't.
Yeah.
But, so I was expecting a
on.
totally stupid concept.
Oh, no, I'm good. Sorry, your internet cut out, but we're back. Wow, we're running into all of the technical difficulties today.
Well, that's probably your internet. I'm gonna just call it on that.
It might be. It's fine. I'm not connected to my Wi-Fi. I'm using my data, so I should be good. My Wi-Fi is terrible. I know that sounded like a completely backwards sentence, but
Yeah.
I've got LTE, guys. Don't worry about it. So I think, okay, the main crux of this show, like the thing that's important to understand about this, is that it's not a parody.
Yeah.
Like, this is a full-on, like, satire and the actual, like, the true definition of what a satire would be, right?
The take out the English dictionary and find the definition of a satire. Is that what you're saying?
Like a Shakespearean satire.
Yeah, no, it is a I was
like
expecting
the
a parody,
importance
I
of being
think.
earnest type of thing. Because
Oh my God.
the show is played 100% dead serious.
Yes.
Like, it's a ridiculous setup, but they play it off like it's the most, like it is an episode of Serial, or it is the next season of Making a Murder. Like, it
Yeah.
is completely serious. There's no, like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This is funny. Aren't we making fun of that one thing? Or if you watch this, you'll get this joke. If you watch that, you'll get this joke. It's none of that. It's completely self-contained.
Yes, yeah.
And it
Which
is
was
dead serious.
yeah, but I mean, I liked that. I mean,
Yeah, same here. That's what made it work.
yeah. I think if they would have done an actual like a parody, I feel like it would have been just a waste of time.
Yeah, it would have been exactly what you expect it to be. Like,
Right.
I mean, this is the people who wrote this. They've written sketches for College Humor, right?
Oh, really?
So it could have
That's-
easily been, if they went the parody route, just like a College Humor sketch. But instead, they went, "Oh, we're gonna take this serious, and all the characters in here are gonna take this serious," and it ended
Right.
up being different. Isn't
Yeah.
that a good description? I see you putting that food close to your
No,
mouth,
I'm not.
Molly.
I don't know what you're
It's
talking
fine.
about.
What's the
All
next
right.
criteria?
Length is the next one. So,
Okay.
it was how many episodes was it?
8 also, just like the last show we watched. What was the
Oh,
last show
wow.
we watched?
8 is like such a perfect amount.
It
It was
is.
Manhunt. Manhunt was
Manhunt.
what we watched last week.
And then the episodes themselves, they have a bit of range. They'll range between like 38 minutes to like 57 or something like that.
I didn't even
depending
notice.
on which episode.
I was so sucked in, I
Yeah?
did not even notice. Yeah. I actually watched it pretty much all the way through. I think I told you that. I like,
We both binged this in one day.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
we
I
both
had a
pretty
break
much.
in between, but yeah.
I mean, so did I. I started watching Sunday morning. I watched like 3 or 4 episodes. Scarfing down the food while I'm talking. It's good. I watched like 3 or 4 episodes, took a trip into the city, got lunch, then came back home, finished it up.
Yeah, that's about what I did. Yeah, because I woke up in the morning,
And
drove
my
out,
grandma's house.
tried
and
to
I
get
saw
that
cornfield out the window.
tried to get the whatever, the stupid Szechuan sauce crap from Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah.
Waited around for like 5 hours and waiting, and then
It's a good
had
way to
drive
spend a
back.
Sunday. That wasn't
Saturday.
Sunday. Saturday.
I was like, yeah, it was Saturday. It wasn't. It was a Sunday. I think I would feel better. I think I felt worse because it was a Saturday.
Okay, so here's the thing regarding the length of the show.
Yeah.
So,
What?
okay, so I know that last time with Manhunt, I didn't really have too much of a problem with the length. I was like, okay, yeah, maybe the first 2 episodes could be squished together and be like a good as 7.
Yeah.
I went back and forth a lot in this show, whether it was way too long or like fine. You know, because I get it. I don't think the show would have worked in the way that it does if it was just like, because this is a plot that you could easily see being like a 10-minute YouTube video, right? And they stretch it
Right.
out for like 8 hours.
I mean,
You
I
know,
could
like
have seen
6
it
or
being
7.
an actual student project, which to me would
Yeah.
have been like tops 30 minutes.
I was gonna say this reminded me a lot of like an idea for a show, like a movie I wanted to develop with some friends of mine in high school.
Oh yeah, okay. This is off topic and probably goes to a different part. I'm not sure what. But if I would have seen this in high school, I was in exactly the thing that this kid was in, the TV news thing. If I would have seen this in high school, I would have wanted to emulate this. So this is
Yeah,
very
for sure.
dangerous for high school students to watch, because you'll start a huge project that there's no way you'll
yeah,
finish.
Because I mean the show is made by like adults and professionals, but it really has that feel of, oh, these are these high school students making it.
Yeah.
You know, they did that really well. I will
Yeah,
say,
they did a good job of the mixing of kind of
So I
like
guess-
the professional. It didn't feel like they didn't like shoot it with like a handy cam or something.
right, except in
but-
cases when it like the plot needed them to.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I was gonna say when I went into the show again, I didn't know anything about it or what it was gonna be like or anything. So
As usual for our picks.
yeah, for some reason I thought it was going to be each episode was about a different investigation, or maybe they'd have like 2 episodes for one
Oh.
investigation and then go on. It was gonna sort of parody a bunch of different stuff.
That would
But
have
it
been
ended up-
interesting.
Yeah, and so it ended up being an 8 episode, satire of this type of true crime thing.
Right.
So around episode 3, I started getting, maybe it was because I watched it all at once, but I started getting a little bit of fatigue of being like, okay, how much can we really drag this out?
Oh, really?
I will say though, they did a really good job of introducing new elements as it went on, and keeping it interesting and actually, like, I was surprised by the end of it. I was like actually invested in the investigation. I was like, oh, what's gonna happen next? Like,
Yeah, no, I completely get that. And I think that's why I didn't feel any of that fatigue, because they kept introducing new elements, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, where are they gonna go with that? Like okay, some of it at the beginning was a little like, it was like, oh, okay, this is kind of silly. But as it went,
Yeah.
I think by episode 3, that's when I was kind of like, whoa, this is actually treating this like a serious investigation, when they had all the little, like, the computer-generated diagram things or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, it's like what you see on a, like a CSI episode when they're recreating the crime, and they
Right.
had that in there, and I was like, it's going this in depth, like, seriously?
And then episode 4, not to get into spoilers, is it starts to get meta. Which, again, when they introduced that element of people in the quote-unquote real life in the show are watching the show's episodes as they're released. And so that's when I started to worry, okay, are they kind of running out of ideas? And they went...
I thought the same thing.
I was like, oh, are they going to, like, sort of put the investigation on the back burner and just do a bunch of meta jokes about the last 4 episodes or whatever?
Yeah, because they
Ended
kind of
up
did
being
do
really
that. They did a little
interesting,
bit of
though.
a recap. Yeah, they did a little bit of a recap, and I was feeling the same thing. I was like, oh, this is gonna be, it's gonna turn into a drama or something. You know, it's gonna
Right.
take. It's no longer gonna be shot in that same style. It'll just show them kind of walking around and doing stuff. But they didn't, and I was really pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, same here. And I think this is, I do, I know it sounds like I'm a bit like going back and forth on whether I liked it or not. Overall, I would say I really liked it. But I will say, throughout the process of watching it, I did have a good amount of back and forth of, am I liking this? Is this drawing on too long? Like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
could
know.
see.
It was a thing that I learned to really appreciate over the course of me watching it, if that makes sense.
I think I
It
understand
sounds a
what you're
little
saying.
Stockholm syndrome-y, but
Yeah,
I came to realize while watching it how just well thought out and planned it actually was.
yeah. Yeah, well, it
I don't know.
obviously had a lot of. No, I see what you're saying. It obviously had a lot of thought to it. Um,
Especially
and
like there'll be revelations in later episodes that call back to things in the earlier episodes that you're like, "Oh, they actually planted that
yeah,
and like hinted at it way ahead of time." And like not in obvious ways, but in ways that once they call back on it, you're like, "Oh, that's actually a really interesting revelation," you know?
yeah, and it's stuff that like when you first see it, you're like, oh, okay, well, interesting, I guess. And then yeah, but when they do the callback, it's just like, oh, that was important. Oh, I was supposed
Right,
to.
yeah. Like an offhand comment that you just sort of take as, "Oh, okay, that's just a little backstory or like
Yeah,
given
just
information or just
character
something that's
building.
going on." Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That ends up being important to the plot.
right.
Which I
Is that a
I
spoiler?
actually ended up thinking it
To
was
ask
really
people to
cool.
pay attention.
Surprisingly, this show probably requires more attention than you'd think it would.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
it's a I'm like we're being serious when we say that it takes its subject matter very seriously, like about as serious as
Yeah.
you could, as serious as any other investigation. It just so
And
happens
they
to be a
could have
ridiculous
gone.
setting.
Yeah, and like they could have gone a lot softer and made it a little. I mean, there were some funny moments, but it's not a funny show. And they could have gone a
Right,
lot softer and had it be funny because it's high school students. Like they just
right.
haha fart. They could have done more of that, fart
It's
jokes or
almost like
something.
it's
But they
the
didn't.
fact that it exists is funny. Like the fact that
Yeah.
this is a real thing is sort of the joke. And then there's funny characters, especially the main guy Dylan. Like I loved him. I thought he was
Oh my
so
god.
good.
I think what was so great about all the characters, and maybe I don't know I don't even know what section this would go under. Uh, Execution. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
in
we've
the
been
right
talking.
place.
We've been in length so far this whole time.
We transitioned into execution very slowly.
Okay,
But
welcome to execution.
thank you. Yeah, just put that towards the front. Edit that. Okay.
Ka-ching! There's there's a title card. Transition. Chapter 2.
They, I think it's chapter 3, but whatever.
Oh.
So the characters, I think what's so engaging about the characters is that I could think of so many people in high school that fit exactly into each of these archetypes. Like well, me and Alex went to high school together, so we're probably thinking of the same people. But
Yeah, most likely.
but like Dylan, like I could picture him exactly as somebody that I took like a Spanish class with.
Right.
Which is funny
yeah.
because he was in that Spanish class. I was just picturing
Yeah.
my own Spanish class, and that was exactly how that student was.
Yeah,
Or like the TV crew, like all those people that's 100%. Like there were
Yeah.
the stoner kids in the TV. There were the people who were way too into film. There were the people who just wanted to be on TV. It was
right.
It was
Yeah,
so perfect.
it nailed high school, you know?
Yeah, it really more so than any high school setting that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
At least
for
my
sure.
high school. I don't know.
I
Maybe
need
it
to stop
was
saying
more.
yeah. I've just realized, okay, I listened back to our first episode, and I realized I said the word yeah approximately 9 million times.
Wow.
And that's just sort of my default response. If you're talking to me and I'm agreeing, I'm like, yeah.
I feel like isn't that everybody's
Yeah.
default response?
I suppose, except it really sounds like half the words I say are just yeah.
I think you're okay, man. Don't
So
stress
yeah,
about it.
no. Give me a sec. It's good
Wow,
audio, right?
why don't you cough like more into the mic? Just
I had a point that I was going to make about the show, and oh, okay. I was gonna say there's a lot of it shows a lot of like character building through like Instagram videos and Snapchat videos, especially for Dylan, like showing a lot of his previous antics and like because a large part of the show is people think he did this because he's totally the type of person who would do this, and he's gotten in trouble with doing stuff like this in the past. And so they build his character a lot through Snapchat videos, Instagram posts, YouTube videos. And I thought those were the funniest parts of the show.
oh yeah,
Just-
when it felt real. It
yeah,
felt like
and
something
the
I
guy
could
who
find
plays
on the internet.
Dylan just plays it so honest, you know?
Yes, yeah.
It's like he's a ridiculous character. He's like kind of a terrible person a little bit, you know? Not a terrible, he's like, he's a misfit, right? But
Right.
his heart's kind of in the right place. And the guy who...
Is his heart in the right place? I don't know about that.
I don't know.
He's exact.
He's
Watch
not evil.
The first 30
He's
seconds. He's exactly that guy you went to high school with.
Yeah. He's not evil. He's just a
No.
misfit.
He's just kind of a dick.
A scoundrel. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. The show had a certain it was charming in a way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I can see
there was
that.
this honesty and innocence about all of it and all of the characters. They're just like, oh, this is kind of just nice.
Well, yeah, all the characters were played very sincerely. Not just Dylan was definitely, I feel like, the most spot on to what he is. But I felt like all of the acting in it was really well done. And I don't know, maybe because it was just so almost, I don't want to say generic, but because they were just so, real. Like all you had to do was play yourself.
God, I said again.
So it was just exactly like watching a documentary that some kid made in high school. Like the teachers were played so well.
Oh my gosh.
They had the
What's his
perfect
name?
little
Kraz?
yes. Oh my god.
Kraz is perfect.
They each had this little bit of except for Kraz, they all had a bit of condescension to their answers.
Right.
And a little bit more of a, I'm the teacher.
I mean, that Spanish teacher, oh man, that brings back memories of specific teachers that you just loathe. You know?
And she, exactly. She was that teacher that you either loved or you hated.
Exactly.
You know? And every one of those teachers had that aspect of, this is the teacher that I would have liked, or this is the teacher that I would have hated. And the way they answered oh my god,
because he's the teacher his whole thing is he wants to be like the cool teacher, and he wants to relate to the kids, and he watches Game of Thrones, and
and he allows people to have cell phones in class and all that.
And you could totally see him being some students' favorite teachers, but also the people making this documentary in the show. They make it pretty clear that they don't like Kraz, and they think he's annoying because he's a tryhard, you know?
Right.
He's trying to relate to these kids by acting like a kid himself, and it just comes off as disingenuous and weird.
I almost took him as a fresh out of college teacher who is too close to the school age. In that he still sees himself. It wasn't even like he's trying to be cool, but he still sees himself as cool.
Yeah, that could be it too. God, that character.
Anyway, every single character was played just so sincerely, and it just felt very real. Who was the camera guy that he was only in there a couple times? I don't remember what his character's name was.
I don't remember his name.
But he was kind of the dorky kid, and he kept coming up a bunch of times, and it was just he was just played so sincerely.
Peter.
I could just imagine him. What's his name? Peter?
Yeah. Peter.
I could just imagine
Maldonado.
him going to high school with him and just I could just picture him perfectly. And he only had 5 lines.
Oh, maybe not that guy then, because Peter was in it a decent amount.
Was he? I don't know. Man.
Man.
It's been a couple days since I watched it all at once.
Yeah, same here. Anyway, what's our next criteria?
did you want to talk about the age at all with the execution? So, like, this
right.
is a very of its time film. I'm not sure lastability. What do you think?
That's a good question, because this definitely plays off of how prevalent these true crime dramas are nowadays.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But also
I didn't even
because
think
it's played
I wasn't even thinking about.
because it's played so straight, and the investigation on its own actually works. Like, it's not a parody, as we said before. Like, it works, right? If you watch
Right.
this show as, oh, this is an investigation about who committed this crime at this high school, it works as a crime show that
Yeah.
has moments of comedy throughout. And so that's why I'm starting to wonder, like, movies like Airplane that do that, where it plays it dead straight. Airplane gets pretty ridiculous, but the fact that they play it completely straight, you don't need to have seen the movie Airport, I think is what it's called, that it's spoofing, because it just works as its own thing.
Whoa. Airplane was spoofing something?
You didn't know that?
I had no idea. Oh
Yeah,
my god!
and I
hope
feel
that's
like most
not
people
common
don't.
knowledge. Okay,
Because-
good. I hope that's not common
Because
knowledge.
it just
I'm coming off
works
as an
on its
idiot.
own. Like, Airport
Oh yeah,
was like...
completely.
Airport was... I think it's called Airport. I'm going to sound like an idiot if it wasn't. But it was like this disaster film. It had exactly the same plot as Airplane, right? Except
Right.
it was actually serious. And, oh, what are we going to do about this airplane?
Wow.
And then Airplane took it, made it goofy, but I guess what makes it work is Leslie Nielsen's character, who's like the doctor, the quote-unquote investigator.
Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. It's been like almost 10 years since I've seen Airplane.
It's fine. Everyone else on Earth knows what I'm talking about. He plays his role completely dead serious, and that's what ends up making it work nowadays, despite
Right.
having never seen those films. You know, the films that it's spoofing.
Yeah,
So I feel like this could fall into that
yeah.
category.
I don't think it's the concept that would age poorly. I was thinking more just the technology and the references. I mean it's a completely of its time referencing, right? So Facebook,
Right.
YouTube, Instagram,
Lot of
Snapchat,
Instagram.
lot of Snapchat too. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah. And like Instagram video, which is sort of like, I mean, it's not like a new feature, but it is a feature that is more popular now than it was
Yes.
even like 2 years ago.
Even, yeah, for sure. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm curious if that would age well. It definitely, I mean, I think it'll be fine for, a couple years. But I'm curious.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know.
I would have to go
It
back
might.
and maybe watch like a true crime show from the 90s and see if it's still interesting.
Right.
I guess, well, like The
I feel
Wire
like it
and
has
stuff,
potential.
like, that's an investigative crime show, and they, like, well, you haven't
What
seen The Wire.
I didn't. Oh, The Wire. Okay.
Yeah, and that, like, literally the name of it is The Wire, because they wiretap people, which,
Oh.
when
that
you're
makes sense.
wiretapping, like, way back when, it's literally a wire, I'm
There's a
making
wire,
a
and you
gesture.
take your finger and you.
Yeah,
just-
I'm making a gesture, but you're literally tapping
I'm sure this sounds amazing.
into the wire.
Whoa,
But,
that's peaking like crazy. Sorry.
But it's very different, than, like, tapping a mobile phone,
Right.
Which is where that show ended up going, which I think was kind of cool.
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
That's a weird tangent. But, like I said, so technology, it can be interesting to go back and watch. So I'm curious, if you went back and watched this 10 years from now, I think the comedy would still be great, but I wonder if, like, the technology would be really hard to watch.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I guess time will tell. I
Yeah.
feel like it has potential to last, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with these kind of shows.
So, the guy
ahead.
who plays Dylan, this is still, I guess, in execution, is Jimmy Tatro?
Sure, if you say so.
His name is Jimmy. He was
Good old
popular on
Jimmy.
YouTube for a while. Like, that was like how he got started in acting, was through his
Oh,
YouTube
really?
channel. But then I think he was in 22 Jump Street a little while ago. Had a
I
pretty
saw
good
that
role
movie.
in there. I know
don't
you did.
remember anything. I don't remember anything about it, but I did see it.
I personally think 22 Jump Street is like one of the best comedies in the past 20 years, but I know
I
Molly
won't.
has mixed
Yeah, I was
feelings
like,
about
I will not express my feelings about
it.
anything relating
It's
to that.
fine. So I
I'm
know
very
I liked
biased.
him a lot. I liked him a lot. So it was nice to see him in, like, I guess, a leading role, like, quote unquote leading role. I haven't watched his YouTube channel. I was thinking about pulling it up.
Like right now.
No.
I was like, we're in the middle of something, but all right.
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm gonna watch a few videos here.
All right. While you type loudly, I will just let's go over to
Yeah, what's the next thing?
engagement. I think we kind of already touched on this a little bit in our
Yeah. So this was
slow transition over to execution.
I will have to say, so I was pretty engaged in the first episode. Actually, I don't know. I feel like my engagement didn't really kick in until episode 4. I feel like the first couple episodes, I was just sort of watching it and just sort of waiting for it to pick up. I guess I was still waiting to, quote unquote, get it.
No, I would agree with that, actually. I mean, I didn't have anything better to do when I was watching it. And I was like, all right, where's this going? And then, yeah, by like episode 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there, I can't remember exactly when. But then I was like, oh, the mystery. Oh, this is, okay, I actually want to know. Because there was some sort of twist that really got me.
Yeah, same here. And then I will say also when it started getting towards the end, like I had one episode left. And I was just sort of like, oh, man, I should probably just wait till tomorrow. I don't really want to finish this tonight. But then I was like, oh, I might as well just finish it because I got this far anyway. I don't want to be thinking about it all day tomorrow and not have it resolved. And so, I mean, I feel like this show, I don't necessarily know if watching it all in one day is the best way to consume it. I don't know. Like I said, I had a mixed response with my engagement to it. Despite overall really liking it, I did feel like maybe I went in too hard.
Yeah. I think my break in between helped because I was kind of like, watching it for a couple episodes, and it's like, yeah, all right, that's okay. And then I came back after like a really crappy day, put that on, and I was just like, oh, this is great. Everything's everything's good. So maybe my mindset was a little different. Also, I was ready to experience literally anything at that point.
I just want to feel.
Exactly. So, I think overall, I don't think the show was so crazy long that it disengaged me completely either.
No.
I think, and by the time, and see, for me, getting to the last episode, I didn't care if I was, how late or whatever I was watching it. I don't think I ended up watching it super late. But, when I got to the last episode, I was like, oh, things are starting to wrap up. And then they got to the last scene, and I was like, wait a minute, is this the end? Because I don't ever look at the episodes. I like to be surprised kind of where I am. And I was like, oh, crap, this is over. Like, I actually wanted it to keep going.
Aww.
And my first thought was, oh, is there going to be a sequel? Because
there might be.
I
don't want to get into spoilers yet.
Yeah, we'll talk about spoilers later. Yeah, they may or may not have set it up. Go watch it, come back, listen to the second half of this where we discuss that part.
What's the next one?
Advice for watching, or how to watch this.
This is a Netflix original, so
yeah,
you can catch it on Netflix. I do think, like I was saying before, maybe don't watch all 8 episodes at once. It is a very specific type of humor, so it might take a couple episodes to fully understand why it's funny, if that makes sense, or why it's good. Like, you understand why it's funny, but why you should like it. So, I don't know, maybe I would recommend...
Here's why you should like it. Don't form your own opinions. Just, here's why you should like it.
I'm not going to tell people why they should like it, but it might take a little while for it to click,
Right.
Like, I mean, I would say the same thing like about a show like Rick and Morty, a show that I hated for...
Did you really?
For like half the first season. And
I feel like most people hate it. There's like a huge...
it like clicked, and I was like, oh, actually, I enjoy this show. It just took a little bit to get into the humor. I feel like this might be the same, where You watch it a little bit, and you're like, okay, I get it. Like, I get what's supposed to be funny, but maybe it's not for me. And then you'll hit a point where it's like, oh no, it's clicking, and I'm enjoying it now.
So I'm one of those people who I hate when people say you have to get to X amount of episodes to enjoy something.
Yeah, same here.
So if our description isn't giving you enough reason to keep watching, then don't watch it. If it's not something you're into, if you're not into like just, I thought I didn't go in it really thinking it was funny. I mean, there were definitely the points that were funny to me were just the relatability to high school, just how real life high school it was.
Sure.
But I thought that the mystery was like engaging enough for me.
Yeah, and this is why I would probably recommend it more than I was thinking I was going to, because it works as a show, as its own thing, as a mystery with some humor thrown into it. I'm
exactly.
more willing to recommend it as an actual mystery than as like, oh, ha ha ha, isn't that so funny?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's more of a mystery.
It's a well-made show.
Yeah, it's more of a mystery drama than a comedy.
Yeah.
I think that's just... So
mystery
don't go into it thinking you're gonna...
ridiculous setup.
Yeah, like don't go into it thinking you're gonna like bust a gut laughing. You're gonna like find a little subtle moment and go, aha.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a little like, yes, that's good. Yeah, maybe a little...
This tickles my pleasure points. That's a horrible expression.
Yeah, that's gonna come across weird.
I went into that sentence not knowing how it was going to end. It ended in the worst way.
Yeah, I was gonna say you found an ending, and I think you should have left it.
No.
Just, oof. All right. So in conclusion,
at the bingeable or bingeability.
We're at bingeability. You gotta make a yay or a nay for bingeability.
Bingeable. Putting the stamp on it. It's bingeable.
I think it's bingeable too. I think I think that we kind of said that throughout. But,
yeah. Despite me, my back and forth throughout it, overall, it was a show that I ended up really liking, and I don't know, bingeable.
Yeah, bingeable.
Boy, I'm in a weird headspace today. I'm like not in like the podcasting zone.
Is there a zone?
Yeah, it's like SoCal.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Speaking of SoCal, so now that we've made our conclusion, I wanted to add in one throwaway note. I actually went to this city. I've been to Oceanside. I stayed there for a week with my parents. Yeah, we actually vacationed there, which it was hilarious because we didn't go into a lot of the neighborhoods and stuff. We stayed right in like the town and on the Strand. If you're a SoCal person, you'll be like, oh, the Strand, of course. But I recognized a lot of the B-roll they used. Like, they used legitimate B-roll from the actual city of Oceanside. Oceanside? Yeah. So, like,
Molly,
they
I
showed...
hate to burst your bubble. This show was filmed in Pacific Palisades.
I don't know what that means, but they legitimately showed...
It's a different city.
They showed 2 B-roll shots that were exactly the places I've been. They showed this one store...
I'm probably sure they got B-roll shots from the actual place.
Yeah, they showed this one store that's right there in the downtown area, and then they showed the pier, which is right there. I don't remember there ever being a sign that said Oceanside. I don't remember that at all, that they showed at the beginning in the little intro, which was super cute. The intro, how they had the kids' names, and then the credits, the other people's names who made the show. But the intro shows the kids who are making the documentary, and it's adorable.
Right. It is really good.
I thought that was the cutest thing ever.
It's a good show. I might actually watch this again. Not like right away, but in a little bit, because it's one of those shows I feel like the more you watch it, you might pick up on more of the subtler things.
Oh yeah, I could definitely I want to put this on like my watch list for next year.
Yeah.
To like refresh myself.
Should we get into spoilers?
That was cool. Yeah, let's get into spoilers.
So that ending though.
Oh yeah.
Oh
my god.
They never actually confirm who did the crime. I mean, like, it's a very similar ending to... I don't know if they did this on purpose. They might have. It's a very similar ending to The Zodiac, which this is going to come up in several of our first episodes.
Yeah, it's just Is this really the Zodiac podcast? That's what it actually is.
Yeah, because it ends with the main guy who's doing the investigation comes face to face with his lead suspect, and they both know that they both know, but neither of them but there's
He
no
has no
admission
proof.
of
Yeah.
guilt. Yeah. And the investigator just has that seething hate, like I put so much into this, and you're just sitting there.
Yeah.
And she knows you got nothing on me, and there's nothing you can do. And it is. I wonder if I know Manhunt totally saw Zodiac. I wonder if this was also like that was a good ending for Zodiac.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I think I thought it was more of a commentary. And Zodiac, I mean, it's a real crime story. So,
Yeah.
like, a lot of crimes are left unsolved.
Right.
And it's that whole, like, beyond a reasonable doubt kind of thing, when
Right.
someone gets off. They're not innocent. They're never innocent. It's just, they're proven...
There's not guilty.
Not guilty beyond, a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
So, no, my whole thing with the ending, I thought it was such an interesting setup to a sequel. Because the whole thing I was thinking was, what did this guy do? What did the teacher do? He must have done something to this girl. And of course my mind went to like the worst case scenario.
Oh, the gym teacher?
Yeah, the gym teacher.
Gotcha.
Because
you never hear what he says to her in that clip.
Yeah. And they have some sort of other interaction, and I just...
Yeah. So there's that, and then there's the whole thing with Dylan actually gets arrested at the end.
Oh my God, that was
committing another
heartbreaking.
crime. Like the same crime, essentially. Yeah. That was really hard, especially after the whole show. Like, again, it pulls on your heartstrings in ways you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, it really...
But,
I was really close to, like... I wasn't, like, crying, but it was, like, right there.
No, but it's just like, because you really felt for Dylan, and he's like, he's going to have his second chance at life. Like, he might actually turn this around. And he, takes advantage of the situation in a way that he feels like, I can get away with this now. And it backfires on him in the biggest way.
Oh, I didn't think he was... I saw it as he didn't think he was going to get away with it. He thought, well, everyone thinks I am this. Screw it. Who cares? Which is what happens to a lot of not criminals, but people who people perceive as criminals, right? So, like, if people say, you're going to steal stuff, and they keep watching you, and they're like, and then you're like, screw it. I'll just do it. Whatever.
Yeah, right.
They already think I'm a criminal. They're already going to lock me up for no reason. I might as well get something out of this. Which is like, he might as well get his revenge. They already see him as this. Even though he was proven innocent. Not, it doesn't...
Yeah, they proved that he could not have possibly committed the crime.
Yeah. I mean, it was... Oh, my God, it was so sad. Just watching that whole day, he didn't get into college. His girlfriend breaks up with him. And then he just literally threw his life away.
It's rough.
Crazy.
I keep saying yeah. Oh, my God. Anyway. What other things? I really liked it when Kraz was fired.
I was so glad that they did fire him. At first I was like, wow, how is he getting away with this?
I know.
Holy crap.
This is stuff he says, you're like, that's awful. And
that's not cool.
And then he's like, I didn't realize this was going to be an actual thing. I didn't know people were going to see this. I probably shouldn't have said all that stuff.
Oh,
and then he gets fired. And then he just doesn't care for the rest of the show, and he's just saying whatever comes to his mind.
I think that was a really good plot decision to have that happen, because
for real.
Like, in the real world, a teacher would never tell you, like, anything. Like, pretty much anything about what's going on in their personal life, a student's personal life, their school. Nothing would, it's such a, they just don't tell you anything, unless it's how to say.
So you have this disenfranchised teacher who was sort of shunned by the rest of the school.
Right.
He's like,
you needed
I don't care. I'm going to tell everybody all your secrets.
Yeah, it was that perfect, like, exposition person.
You're going to have some more chocolate. He was the exposition character, pretty much.
Yeah, he was a necessary.
It was well hidden, but that's what it was.
Yeah. So I thought that, and also I like. Good, since it was like a year and a half old.
It was literally a year-old bar of chocolate. Anyway, you were saying?
I think, his character was interesting. Oh my God, that's so loud in the microphone.
Really?
Yeah, at least in mine.
There we go.
Um,
I was gonna get mad at you for eating. Now I've got my mouth full of chocolate.
I didn't eat it into the microphone, so that's,
I'm embracing it.
double standard. Anyway, yeah, his character.
Any other
was
standout
interesting.
characters that you liked? Ming?
Ming. Ming, that's oh my god, when Ming almost died, though, I was like, are you shitting me? I can't believe they're gonna
I really
kill
thought
him.
he was gonna die.
It was very realistic.
But then I also love that twist because I caught it immediately when that one girl was like, "Does anybody know CPR?" And I was like,
oh my god,
"Wait a
I was
second!
like,
2 episodes ago, you said you were in a CPR class. Like, what is
I thought
this?"
the same thing. I was like, isn't that the girl who said she was in the CPR class?
Yeah. Oh, and just the way the show can actually get you to make those connections and have those moments of realization. It's like an actual mystery.
Yeah. Oh, I got one more thing. Freaking Nana. I felt so bad for her. Her poor house. Where they had Nana's party or Grandma's party or
Oh
whatever
my
it was.
gosh. Okay, that was, in my opinion, one of the funniest things of the show.
I mean, it was hilarious, but I was like,
that was like one of the aspects of the show where they're like, we're going to take this thing and turn it to 11, and it's going to be the most ridiculous thing. It's going to be the party from 21 Jump Street times 12, you know?
I'm like trying to imagine a bunch of...
I wonder, so the high school, or maybe it was the house. Was it the house or the high school?
What?
The high school was the same high school used in the movie Project X, which is a movie that came out a few years ago. That was about a gigantic house party, you know, that goes crazy.
Yeah, I never saw it, but I remember it.
I never saw it either, but...
Was it a found footage movie?
It was a found footage movie.
I was like, that's how I imagined it, so...
I wonder if there's any similar people working on this and that.
Speaking of, like, found footage, they did a great job with, the cell phones when they were going through their investigative part and they're trying to sneak in. And by the way, I have done that exact trick where you keep your phone halfway out.
In the pocket?
Yeah. I used, like, my pants pocket or, like...
Yeah, the pants pocket. I was thinking that, too. I was like, oh, my gosh, just put it in your pants pocket. Like, you don't need to get a great angle.
Yeah, but I've definitely done that before. I've done it with, like, recording also. I'll, like, face it the other way and do it for if I'm going into somewhere where I want to record the conversation.
Yeah.
Which in some...
You know, in all of your moments of espionage and, like, international...
Well, if it's, like, a performance review or something, I used to do that. So that I would have both sides of the story. But,
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I thought that was hilarious, and the way that they just literally left it, you know, a vertical picture.
Yeah.
And it just had the black bars on the side. I'm like, yeah, that's how you do it.
It just was, yeah, it felt real the whole time.
Yeah.
The gym teacher was such a gym teacher. But
yes.
not in, like, the overly dramatized, like...
No, he was a legitimately
like
real
the gym teacher from Fairly Odd Parents or something like that. Like, he was like, oh yeah, he's a gym teacher. He cares about his students. He cares about sports. But he also, you know, if that's not your thing, he's probably not going to like you very much.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's oh my God. Like I said, all the teachers everybody in the school, the teachers, the students, they resonated so much with me. Where were the parents? Were there any parents in this? I don't remember there being a whole lot of
Dylan's
parents.
parents.
Yeah. Oh, well, are they?
Who were great.
Oh, yeah, that's right. When they were talking to lawyers and stuff. That's right.
Yeah.
And we saw, what's his name? Who, the one who made the film. I've already forgotten his name.
I said his name. Peter.
Yeah, so his mom is in it. You don't get to hear what she's saying when she goes into the principal's office and, like, rips him a new one.
Oh, yeah.
That
was like,
great.
oh, my mom's a total savage.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was pretty good.
And then, of course, you had the couple of, like, moms that they showed on the Hot Mom board.
Yeah, which also Peter's mom was on there.
Yes, of course. That was like a funny moment to me where his friend kept going like, "Oh, your mom's so hot." That was a funny little recurring joke.
They were good. They were good kids.
Any other spoilery topics that really captured you? Is this the
It's my
Closing
thinking
credits?
music.
Oh, is that what that was?
Thanks
That
for
was like
tuning
closing
in.
credits.
Ba-da-da-da, da-da, da-da, da, 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 the bingeable. Ba-dum, bum, bum. Oh
Nice.
god, I just knocked over a bunch of stuff on my desk.
Well, that's what you get for trying to make a theme song.
No, I think I'm good. I don't know what else there was really to talk about. That party was awesome. I loved how they were able to stitch it together through everyone's
Oh,
different,
that was
you
the
know,
coolest.
footage with their phones.
I was like, that is the coolest thing ever, and only a high school student would have enough time to do that.
Yeah.
Even the police couldn't do that.
No. I really liked, I don't know, like when they discovered the paint can. That was another moment where I was like, oh, this is like interesting. Like this is like the murder weapon. Like you
that
know?
was so cool. That was
And they're
so
like
cool.
trying to pin it around the house at different points in the party. I got really into it. I really enjoyed it.
I think something that's kind of cool that that they kind of like, I felt like they kind of snuck in there was like the fact that this was popular was how they got all that footage.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
if they hadn't released it, if they had like waited until it was all complete, they wouldn't have the ability to fix a lot of the things that they needed to do, like they needed things for. Like,
right.
I just thought that was such a cool idea. Like, oh yeah, they're actually using the popularity to prove, you know, that he's innocent, or then they use the popularity to get a bunch of this footage they need, or there's something I thought back on. And I was like, oh, that's really clever. It's not something that came out and said. It just kind of was.
Right. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. It was a very well thought out show. The writers must have actually spent a good amount of time writing it. Like this wasn't something they wrote off the top of their head. Like they must have had like whiteboards, you know?
Yeah. They must have had like little threads connecting them all.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I had one more thing I wouldn't. Oh, this is a little joke, but when they find the paint can actually like in the shed, and the kid holds it up, and the other guy's like, "Oh, don't touch it with your hands, fingerprints."
Yeah,
And the one guy's like, "Oh, it's too late for that." And then like a second passes, he's like, "Wait, we don't have." He's like, "Wait, fingerprints, we don't have." And then it just cuts off because like they're high school students, they don't have forensics equipment or anything. And the fact that it took him a second to realize that because they were so deep in the investigation.
That
I
was
just
so
really,
good.
I thought that was hilarious.
Oh my gosh. I feel like it got, as it went on, like later, it got more like in depth and more crazy almost, in that
Yeah.
they were doing so much stuff. But it almost got funnier because of that.
It did. Yeah, I feel like, yeah,
I love
agree.
that.
It got, as it went on, it got funnier, had a more interesting investigation, and then actually hit you with some surprise emotional notes. Like,
Yeah.
it got you in the feels. And I was like, oh, this show ended up being way more than I expected it to. Which I guess has kind of been a trend on this show so far.
Yeah. Overall, though, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have anything much more to discuss. It's just great. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It was very
I'm
good.
gonna watch it again.
Probably same here. So we were talking about, talked about Zodiac last episode. Talked about Zodiac this episode.
I mean,
And
it's
said
just
this
you
might-
talking about Zodiac, pretty much.
And I said this might be a recurring thing, and I think that's going to continue because I think we decided the next show we're going to watch before Stranger Things comes out is Mindhunters, which comes out on Friday of this week. And Mindhunters, I think it's another 8-episode long show, but the first 4 episodes are directed by David Fincher, director of The Zodiac.
You're so happy. Like,
I am really happy because he's my favorite director. Like, I think I've decided. I thought about it a long time.
you decided
I think
that.
David Fincher is my favorite director. Oh, but what's his name? Denny what's his name? Denny give me a second here.
Anyway, so we're gonna be watching
No. Give me a
Mindhunter
second here.
next week. So if you're interested, feel free to watch it before us, or wait until we make our critical binge or not binge worthy assessment. But yeah, I saw the trailer and I was like, yeah, we're watching this. And then I tagged Alex on Facebook and I was like, we're watching this, right?
Denny Villeneuve? I think that's his name. Denny Villeneuve.
Okay.
He is an amazing director. Boy, oh boy. He's one that I've just started watching his stuff recently, and it's been blowing me away.
Cool.
He had that movie Arrival that came out last year. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, yeah, the one about the aliens, right?
Yeah, that It's probably one
That
of the
was
best sci-fi
amazing.
movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I loved that movie. That was awesome.
And he made the new Blade Runner 2049.
I did not see that.
I saw it this weekend.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that later.
Just if you like good movies, you'll like it.
Wow. Wow. All right, well,
And this is coming from a
note.
person who's never seen the first Blade Runner, and I have no interest in seeing it. I know that's going to anger a lot of people. I don't have any interest in seeing the original Blade Runner. I'm sorry.
I don't.
Um,
I mean,
This new one, I only watched it because it was directed by Denis Villeneuve. I don't know if I'm saying that right still. And no, it was seriously very good. It was almost 3 hours long, but it felt shorter than most hour and a half.
oh my
long
God,
movies.
3 hours. Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
That's gonna be an at-home movie for me.
I would highly recommend seeing it in the theater. If you can see it in Dolby, like in Dolby Atmos, that would be. Whew, it's good, man. That is
All
a
right,
movie
well,
though that you need to pay close attention to.
All right,
Anyway.
well, I gotta go. So let's
Yeah. Well, tune in next time. We'll be talking about
Yeah.
Mindhunters. I don't know when any of these episodes are going up. We still need to create, like, Gmail, SoundCloud, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, all that fun stuff.
We'll get around to it. So far, no
We'll
one's
figure it
heard
out.
these.
Yeah, so
Molly, it's like we're just
talking to ourselves.
talking into the void, into the emptiness.
And
Duh.
the end.
Ba-dum-bum. How do we end the show? Is that it?
That way you just stop it.
Okay. I'm gonna click the button now.
Me too.